So my name is Luke Nichol, and I'm one of the 3 co-directors of the Cluster New Music and Integrated Arts Festival. So I would say this is a festival for adventurous art goers, anybody who's looking for something a bit different and who's not really concerned with whether something is music or whether it's a painting, somebody who's open to things that are in between all of those things. This year, we've actually got a lot of video game related art. So we've got people playing video games on stage, building things on a screen while you watch, while sound happens, often doing that interacting with live performers as well. We've got a lot of people who have built their own instruments. So things like these spinning tops that are actually turntables that light up, which are super cool. This year we've got a percussion ensemble coming, so straight up hitting things, lots of hitting things. But they're also going to be playing all kinds of synthesizers, all kinds of toys, sewing machines, typewriters. And then we also do have actually some more traditional art. So we've got a fixed exhibition by Manitoban artist Barb Flemington. So that'll be just kind of straight up fine art. And we've got an exhibition of video game related works, so hacked video games that everybody can play with and interact with. There's going to be an Oculus Rift, so that's pretty cool. We've got a React table coming in, so we've got lots of new instruments and yeah, so all kinds of different art really. And on Friday night we've got 2 acts. So we've got Feola Evans. She's an Icelandic Canadian cellist, and what she does is she's taken these folk songs that she actually went to Iceland and kind of investigated and recorded, and she's put them onto her cello into loop pedals. She's got projection, so she's just this sort of like solo force that's going to be playing really beautiful minimal solo cello Icelandic folk song stuff. And then on the second half of that concert we've got a group called Plumes Ensemble from Montreal and New York, and they're maybe the closest to a band that we've got this year. So they're actually, I mean, they are a band, but they're also an ensemble. So they like this classical rock thing going on. And they're going to be sort of also going through different types of folk music, actually kind of more American folk music, but mixing it with classical and really sort of loop-based stuff. So that's sort of the Friday night. We're also on that night opening the video game exhibition, which will be next door in the Urban Shaman Gallery. And that's called Impossible Architectures, which is full of interactive video game pieces that you can walk around, you try them out, put on the Oculus Rift, you can do some immersive stuff. So we've got lots of stuff opening that first night. The second night then is called Self, which is same location, same time, and that's going to be in the first half featuring Sarah Kirsch, who you're all very familiar with, I'm sure, if you're listening or watching, and she'll be singing a new composition, so very, very modern sort of electronics composition where she just does all kinds of crazy things with her voice. But the special thing that we've sort of prepared is during that, we've got this video game group from New York coming in that's going to be building her essentially on screen. So they're going to be like building her character on screen. And after she's done singing the first part of the concert, they're actually going to be using this avatar to have a kind of a dialogue with her and have it go through these like sonic environments, which you can watch. So there'll be kind of Sarah, sonic environments. We've got a few improvisers and instrumentalists as well, so this will be this great sort of multimedia thing. And on the second half of that concert, we have Gabriel Darmou, who is doing a piece about imagined cultures, essentially. So he's built all these imaginary folk cultures, and then he is on stage singing songs from these imaginary cultures while this panel of experts is on a projection kind of mocking him, talking about all of these things like it was a real documentary, but it's all completely made up. And it's his kind of comment on colonialism, because he's got this diverse background in Indian Carnatic singing and also kind of classical new music. So that's going to be really great as well. Then we kind of skip forward, so we've got some things in between. We've got a free workshop on Sunday if you like making sound. You can find out about that on the website. We've also got a composer talk at McNally Robinson on Tuesday night, which is the 31st. So if you want to hear more actually about the art side of things, if you want to hear people talk about it, we're going to put those people straight in front of you. There'll be questions. So if you really want to hear people talk about how they make art, great opportunity. And then on Thursday, April 2nd, is our kind of most interactive concert. So it's called Play. And essentially the first half of the concert features a number of people who have made their own instruments or their own installations, and you can sort of see them perform, including some of the people who were from earlier in the festival. So again, this video game duo from New York, Foci Loci or Foci Loci, which I'm never sure. So they're going to be playing video games and building these levels that make sounds, and we've got other people who build instruments. And so the first half of the concert is this kind of demonstration, and then the second half we allow everybody to kind of go play everything. So the artists are going to be there to, help you try out their instruments or to, play the video game with you. They've got, all kinds of stuff. So that'll be a great kind of interactive evening. And that evening we're also launching the fine art exhibit that I was talking about, which is Specimen Gardens by Barb Flemington. And that's this amazing exhibit where she's taken old pianos and things from her entire sort of family history and recreated them in these crazy ways. So that's going to be amazing. And then our final night, which is the third, is called Metatron, and it's an enormous percussion concert, essentially. So the entire stage will be filled up with not only things like drum sets and cymbals and things, so your standard fare, but also like all kinds of synthesizers, old amplifiers, sewing machines, turntables, all kinds of instruments that they're going to play all of. So, and that night is essentially a homecoming for our third director, Elliot Britton. He just moved back to Winnipeg. This is his doctoral thesis piece that we're presenting that night. So it's this massive half-an-hour-long thing that kind of, he calls it his most accessible piece because it takes songs from a Reader's Digest songbook and then kind of presents them as if through the different stages that recording technology was available in. So the ensemble plays on a lot of historic instruments and through a lot of historic kind of speakers and things. So, and that'll wrap up the festival that night. And there's all kinds of other stuff that are in those concerts, and full of art, really. I think what makes it unique is a sense of possibility that we want. So when you walk through the doors into the Cluster Festival, there's just the sense that anything can happen, and we want to feel that ourselves as programmers and as curators. We want our artists to feel like they can do anything, and we want our audiences to just expect anything. So that sense of possibility and openness, like, you're going to see some strange stuff. You might not like it, you might love it, but like everything could happen. So we want to be presenting everything from like a rock band to a painting and everything in between. Really, the things in between are kind of the most important. Yeah.